Every club. Every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Hello, bonjour. Welcome everyone to our new daily AFC Bournemouth episode where we will be talking about, we'll be doing a post-match review against Wolves. Sweet revenge. We had to win this one. It was a very difficult game, I'm not going to lie, especially watching it from the stands. If we didn't win, I feel like we would have been robbed. Today, here, Dan again with me. How are you, Dan?
I'm very good. A lot better when you're winning, isn't it? I feel really positive.
There's the happiness and euphoria, joy, and the feeling when Sinistera scored that winning pen. It's just, we're going to talk about it later. Right, before we dive into everything, we do have to mention that this podcast is a part of the Global Sports Podcast Network, the only network bringing you exclusive daily news and views on your Premier League team, the Premier League, women's football, and fantasy football. It's a unique listening experience that puts fans first, bringing you the very latest breaking news from your team. So subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and make us your first listen, if you can, every day. Global Sports Podcast Network. Every club, every day.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Right, Danny Boy, Dan King himself. Unfortunately, you were unable to.
I had to watch it. I had to watch it. But yeah,
you dropped out last minute. I know the feeling.
Children, hey,
children,
being a parent,
hey.
But still,
have kids.
What a game! So let's start. What do you lineups then? Did any of us get it right? The lineups right?
Apart from Cliver starting from the bench, I think Evan Nilsson obviously being back. We kind of expected it. We said if he's 100%, he'll definitely start, which happened. And as Iraola said in his post-match interview, Evan Nilsson gave a lot more than Iraola thought he could.
It's good, isn't it?
It was brilliant. I mean, the atmosphere for the full 120 minutes, I cannot describe it. It was just for our listeners who are also our followers on social media. They could see that we were going live from the stadium, from the ground, and it was just non-stop singing, chanting, booing as well. I mean, especially, after being denied 2 goals by the VAR again, feeling like we're being bullied, and then beating Wolves, beating the referee, and beating the VAR.
Let's start with the goal then. What do you think about the goal? It's again, James Hill plays a ball into Semenyo. Semenyo shoots, parries it out, goal.
Evan Nilsson. So, me being in the north stand for this game, right? Obviously, Bournemouth was attacking towards the other side, and watching it from behind, from the back, I think before we scored the goal, that was only second time that Bournemouth tried to play the ball on the right side. For the rest of the halftime, it felt like Bournemouth was pushing all the time on the left-hand side. And I even said it multiple amount of times, just switch the side, change the side, switch the side. And they kept pushing to the left. And Semenyo was looking from the stands, was looking like he was bored. He wanted to play, but he didn't get the ball. Maybe that was a tactic. Maybe
it's a strategy.
Maybe that was a strategy. Yeah, and
they do it quite often, like different ones where they overload one side for the first 15 minutes and then change it up.
Yeah, but this was overloaded for 37 minutes.
Yeah, still part of the tactic.
It was crazy, and then I was expecting Semenyo to score. Obviously, we gave our predictions that Semenyo will score. Which he didn't, unfortunately, but Evan Nilsson was right place, right time.
He got man of the match, Semenyo did.
He got the man of the match, that's true. I
think there was other people, but
I think there were other people. I think if you ask me, I would have given it to Tyler Adams.
Agreed.
He that guy didn't stop running. He didn't stop running.
Captain America. He's Captain America. He just is everywhere. He's brilliant. So come on, we've got to get on to the big point.
We got no.
What was it like in the stadium for 8 minutes waiting for this VAR decision?
So, oh yeah, the VAR, right?
So if you
It
don't know,
was
Bournemouth scored another goal.
so obviously,
Shortly
yeah, we scored the second goal. Kerkers was the goal scorer, right? And that was one of my predictions. Actually, I said, why not?
It was
And
Howson. It was Howson scored the goal.
well, basically, so what I usually do when it's a VAR decision, we can't see from the stands what's happening. So I play the game on my phone, and we watch it on the phone, right? Me and the fans around me. So we saw that clearly. Well, Kerkers hit the ball, and the ball got stuck between Howson's shoulder and the
Yeah.
post. So basically, yeah, he pushed the ball in. Once they established that it wasn't a handball, right? Then they were looking for offside, and apparently only, I don't know, 2 centimeters of Kerker's boot was offside, which was, I don't know.
I'm still confused about it because
But
yeah,
7 minutes is too long.
I think it was 8 minutes. Is 8 minutes, and however there was only 7 minutes of added time. Explain that to me.
Yeah. Especially that because they were wasting time. Uh, there were, I mean, definitely that should have been 10 minutes, if you ask me. 9-10 minutes. So whatever the VAR is and all that. And I had a guy next to me saying that they should do it like in bloody rugby. They stop the time whenever something happens, and that's it. And it ridiculous. I mean, numerous amount of times we we were just chanting, "This is embarrassing," and you ruined football, and it just it just feels every single time worse and worse. And why always Bournemouth gets their goals overturned? That's
I
my
don't know.
question. It feel you feel like being bullied, no?
I just feel like probably a bit like Ukraine at the moment, being bullied by America,
Oh,
which is the
Ozzy got
referee.
scared when you when you mentioned Ukraine.
No, I don't know. I just think it's like, yeah, we're just unfortunate. I think the VAR room's all the way in London, isn't it? So it's a bit far away, and they're not thinking favourably of us.
No, but it makes you think really. Like I've never seen. Okay, I've seen somebody checking the VAR. I've seen referees after 2-3 minutes. Obviously, the game didn't stop. The game carried on. So the first break of play, yes, they would go and check the VAR, but not having to be checking it for 7-8 minutes. It's just. I think this is the longest time ever that they
I
were
felt
checking.
sorry for the referee. The referee had to call the managers over and speak to them to explain the automatic offside didn't work. So that
Oh
failed.
yeah, that's something else. Yeah. Oh my god,
So
that's
it's not the
embarrassing.
referee's fault. You could see on the TV it kind of looked. He felt embarrassed himself, but what could he do? He's waiting for a decision in his ear. Um, yeah, got overturned. Possibly the correct decision. I just haven't seen. Sometimes when you look at it and it's taking that long, your question is it clear and obvious? And I know that's not a part of the rule when it comes to offside, but it shouldn't be taking that long. I've heard lots of different things online. Maybe it should be limited to a minute. Maybe like
Yeah, I've seen that as well. Yeah.
I
Yeah,
just
it's. I mean, but yeah, but that puts the pressure again. Now, my question is, what's the job of a referee nowadays if the decisions are being made in the VAR room?
hmm,
This is the thing.
we should have a drone as a referee really and just following it around. That's probably going to be the new way. Who knows?
Well, maybe in the future, yeah, but it's I don't know. I really hope they will vote and get rid of the VAR.
They won't. They won't. I think last vote was 19 clubs favoured for it. We voted for it, so we've got to, and still voting for it. So um, I don't think that's changing. I think it gives a bit more financial security. I don't know with it,
Yeah,
and it's a good
right.
talking point. Talking points. Talking points brings money to the Premier League.
Well, yeah, that's true. And bigger clubs playing in the Europe that brings more money to the Premier League, and that's why FA Cup somehow doesn't want Bournemouth to be in the big competition. Right, but let's go for a quick break, and we'll be back to talk a bit more about the game from Saturday.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Do you have a story to tell that the world needs to hear? Have you struggled with reaching new audiences who are engaged with your story? It might be time for you to start a podcast. Let me tell you about the platform we use here at Global Sports Podcast Network. Zencastr makes it easy to start a high-quality podcast built for growth from day one. With 4K video recording from your phone and AI editing that automatically removes ums, ahs, your nose and 22 other speech patterns, Zencastr makes it super easy to start a podcast that sounds great. Ready to tell your story? Check out the link in the show description to learn more about Zencastr.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
We're back after the message from our sponsors. So I want to ask you, Alex Scott, what kind of game do you think he had?
Average. A better game for him, but still average. Yeah. It was interesting. I've got to be careful. People are starting to compare that. People bashing Alex Scott like they did for Neto, the goalie, and like they did for other players. I'm not debating his ability. I just feel where we are in our Premier League push, he is too inconsistent for us, and he needs to increase his work rate. Maybe that will come with games. Still not certain. Not certain for Europa or European team.
Do you think that's maybe because he doesn't play in his natural position? I mean, obviously, we know that Iraola is a magician when it comes to changing, transitioning players' positions, and obviously seeing Ryan Christie playing as a winger before Iraola and now playing as a CDM, and getting the best out of him. Do you think that's maybe the issue?
Wow. Possibly. But where would you say his main position is? Number 10?
Well, I would say number 10, yeah, but sort of, well, let's say some attacking central midfielder, right? Central attacking midfielder. You can put it that way. More sort of a playmaker with more offensive style of play rather than running back. It reminds me of one of the Serbian players, actually, Milinkovic Savic. Yeah. And this was a problem. Now, you mentioned in the last game when Bournemouth conceded against Wolves, it was his fault because he didn't follow the player back. And the same thing happened in the Euros last year when we conceded to Slovenia because he just didn't follow his player. He didn't run back, and you could see him walking. So
I think you might be the only one who watched that game. I'll be honest, I didn't watch that one.
That's all right. Never mind. Well, I was in Germany. Our dear listeners who have been listening to us from the beginning. They are aware that I was in the Euros last year. I went to watch the Euros in Germany, and that was fun. Yeah, especially the England game against Serbia. But this is not the time to talk about.
No. Well, okay, let's get on to the goal.
We will definitely do an episode regarding the game in November this year, where England will be hosting in Wembley against Serbia, and yeah, I'll be there again. So right, so back to Alex Scott. So yeah, I think he's maybe playing him in the wrong position, and he just cannot find his place. If Bournemouth would play a different kind of formation, maybe with 3 in the middle and 2 people more on the wings, I'm talking about, let's say, like 4-3-3 holding formation. I think Alex Scott would be better in that one rather than playing in 4-2-3-1. I don't know. This is my opinion.
Yeah.
But I think he had a solid game, and as I said, I could see him starting. You expected Ben Winterburn, didn't happen. And yeah, apart from him, Evan Nilsson, I was so glad that he scored on his return. It means a lot, not just for the club. It means a lot to him.
I think he just stretches game, doesn't he? He comes in, he plays it. He's a little bit cleverer than Dango. Dango's
Yeah.
done amazing physically, but Evan Nilsson's a clever striker.
Yeah, his positioning, his attacking positioning is much better, and he's just better player. You can all say maybe Dango, plays better on the wing, where Evan Nilsson would probably do nothing because he's just a proper striker, number 9. Apart from him, I think James Hill had a good game as a centre back. He was solid, considering that obviously their star player Cunha was sort of pushing against Hill for most of the game.
I saw
And
Tyler Adams come in as well on him. Tyler Adams had a job of coming to support James Hill on Cunha, and Cunha did not like that.
yeah, but look at what happened. I mean, now to move on to the Wolves goal, right? It was a stunning shot. It was a screamer. That was 35 yards, and everyone went silent in the stands. I'm not gonna lie. It was just like, what the hell did just happen? And you could just
Undeserved.
see the ball going and changing the direction. I was like, oh my god. And yeah, he only needed one chance, and that's it. Any other time, it's like, and anyway, as I said earlier, if we didn't win this game, if we didn't go through, I would feel like we would have been robbed, because even their goalkeeper, I have to take my hat off. There, Sam Johnston was brilliant, especially in the extra time where he managed to have a couple of amazing saves, headers from Sinistera and Lewis Cook.
Oh, Lewis Cook should have scored that.
Yeah, I know, crazy, and luckily we got in. Um, you obviously watching it from the telly with your best mate Dan Lewis. Hello,
Yeah.
Dan. Thanks for listening. What was your view of the game?
Exactly the same. I think we had so many chances. Like, I didn't see Wolves coming into the game, especially in the extra time. I felt like they were going to sit. They were already sitting back
Yeah,
for.
they were parking the bus and that's it. They were just waiting for the penalties, basically,
Hmm.
because that's the game of luck. And
It was just becoming a little bit frustrating. We just couldn't. It was so many, almost so close, and I was thinking to myself, like you, we've got to win this game. But when you think like that, you know what usually happens. You tend to lose. It's just what football's like, isn't it? You need to finish your chances to win the game, and it wasn't happening.
that
So
wasn't happening. And there was one chance. I think it was in the regular time when. Do you remember that Tavernier was literally on the penalty spot with the ball alone, and he managed to he decided to pass to Semenyo instead of to finish. Do you remember that?
yes, well, partially. I've probably It's they're the decision makings that were just not happening right at the moment. Um,
Don't get me wrong, Tav had a good game. That should have been a goal. That should have been a finish from Tav.
this is exactly it. It's the decision making, confidence in that box. We're just not. It's just not happening at the moment. But give it a bit of time. We've won. Penalties will help us. Confidence is growing. Penalty takers. That was interesting.
Penalty takers. That was interesting. Yeah. Let's talk about penalties before another ad break from our sponsors. But before we go to the actual break, um, I want to ask you one more thing. What did you think of that VAR against Hausen and potential red card?
What, the one against Houghton?
No. When I think it was near the end. It was when I think it was Sarabi on the left side
Oh
passed the
yeah.
ball to Cunha, and Cunha just kicked it and started running, and then Hausen tackled him.
No, clear, very clear, yellow at tops. He was running away from the goal, not running towards it. And when they was doing the VAR check, you're just like, oh my. But no, I had a different position, so you could see it clearly because they kept showing the highlights on TV, and you're like, they can't give that.
You could
Or
say
could.
that. I think. Well, I think how I would feel if I was on the pitch. If that decision got overturned and Hausen got the red card, I would have left the pitch. It would have just been too much, I think. But yeah, luckily he only got a yellow card. But I think that means that he's not available for the next game.
No, Howson, I'm not too sure on that one. I knew Kirkes, but
Kerkez will
Howson,
miss the next game against the opponent
Mansley.
that we're going to mention after the ad break, right? let's go on a quick one.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
Your body is unique, and Global Sports Podcast Network has partnered with Bionique, the world's most personalised supplements. Bionique provide 100% tailor-made supplements designed to deliver precisely what your body needs at exactly the right levels to optimise your health. No guessing. So click the link in the show notes. Use the code GSPN2025 for 40% off your first month's subscription. Bionique. Don't settle for off-the-shelf solutions made for just anybody. Get what's right for you right now.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.
So, our next opponent in the FA Cup, the Blues. We're going to be playing Man City for the third time this year, because I think that the next round is after our away game against City, if I'm correct. We don't have the set date yet, but I think...
It's being played at the end of March, so I'm just checking now. We are...
no, so the Cup game is the first then?
Yeah.
Cup game is the first, right. Well... Okay, let's finish off with the penalties and then with this game, and we will have time to talk about our next opponent. But penalties, yeah, you want to say something about penalties, Dan?
I just always think I wonder, I would love to know the mentality. Arola said they've been practicing their penalties every training session, so that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder if people nominate themselves to go forward. I thought, obviously, Howson... It's quite a strange one, but he's confident.
Yeah, I didn't expect him to. And when I saw him going towards the ball, I didn't feel that confident. I'm not going to lie.
He's only 19 as well. The pressure that put on him, you don't usually do. But obviously, he missed. I felt confident with Kepa. Well, let's talk about, first of all, my favourite moment of the game, Dango's penalty.
Oh, yes. I think that was better than the red card from Cunha. Yeah, that it was just, I don't know. Not even us expected what he was going to do. He put the ball, he just turned around and he scored, and that's it. And I don't think anyone was ready.
It reminded me of playing at like Little Down or something like that, where you're only allowed one step to take a penalty.
Yeah, that's it.
It was like that.
From the knee. We said from the knee. From the knee.
It was...
There was a funny moment, right, when the penalty shootout started, because obviously Wolves started first. So Strand Larsen scored for Wolves, and as the keepers were exchanging, Kepa came to wait in the same spot where Johnston was waiting when the first penalty was taken, right? So what was funny, Kepa saw the bottle of Sam Johnson, right, and he had on the bottle written the penalty takers and the sides they were going to shoot. Kluivert scored. He's a daddy for penalties. I'm not going to lie. He's just so cool. And you could see if you watch it again through the highlights, you could see that after his penalty, Kepa went up to him and whispered. I'm not sure if he did for all the players, but he whispered who is going to shoot where. Basically, okay, well, probably he said, I don't know, he's got written on the bottle, the Utara is going to shoot left and whatever, so just tell them to be aware of it. And and then obviously, they scored 4. Howson, 4th penalty taken for us. I swear to God, I wasn't even looking at the screen. I didn't even know that if Doherty scores, they are going through. I didn't. I was just looking at the goal and what was happening there. And Howson missed, so I thought, okay, well, we still have chance. And then Doherty for the match ball, the winning one, he missed the whole goal, and I'm thinking like, wait, what did this just happen? Cookie, and the rest, they missed another one, and it had to be done. But we were millimeters away from a loss.
I thought we were out. As soon as we missed that, I thought Doherty's going to score. but that's me being a pessimistic. But it didn't happen, and we are through to the quarterfinals. I believe it's the third time, but definitely the first time in my lifetime.
Yeah,
To
for the
ever be
third time. Yeah, for the third time playing the quarterfinals.
one match away from Wembley.
One match away from Wembley. Wow. It sounds a bit unreal, but we've beaten City already this season.
Comfortably. I know the final
Uh,
score doesn't show that, but we were strong.
and if you remember, Kerkers actually in that game had 2 assists. Now we're going to be without Kerkers in our next FA Cup game.
I can't believe that. I can't believe that. He handled it so well. I don't know if you've seen Arola's
Yeah,
he was saying like he should be praised for the way he's been punched, he's been kicked when he's down, he's been headbutted, and he hasn't reacted. However, he's got a yellow card and he's missing the quarterfinal.
well, I'll tell you something. That's his Serbian side, right? Serbian people don't go down that easy, and it's yeah, he was right. I mean, if you look at what happened, what Cunha did was, I don't know. I couldn't explain it. He didn't really need that.
He
Not as
refused
a
to come off
team
the
leader.
pitch. He refused to come off the pitch as well. Is the shocking thing is, and I said to you in the last one podcast, is that if he gets the same ban as Sabani,
Zabani.
that is a joke. Because Sabani went, obviously we can go into it, Sabani got the ball and then the ball knocked him into the other player, and that's called a reckless challenge, and that's 3 games. If not more, because he got at the beginning of the game, so Arola says 4. So Cunha currently has just 3 games. Bam. He not only headbutted, not only punched, not only kicked, he then refused to go off the
He
pitch.
refused to go off the pitch, and there were, even at the end of the game, you could see them still having arguments between 2 teams. And if you look at, I mean, Wolves without Cunha is probably championship team. I'm not gonna lie. He's the team leader, and he's a great player. He is a great player, but his behavior, doesn't make him a great player.
No,
And to kick off like that, I don't know.
not good. Not good for him.
But I'm glad it didn't happen to us. It wasn't any of our players that reacted like that, because I would have been gutted.
And I also think Kirkers has impressed me there, showing his mentality, because he's not. Kirkers is quite a vicious player, not vicious, but strong into a challenge.
Yeah,
Um,
aggressive.
Aggressive, yeah, that's the word I was looking for. But he doesn't ever. It doesn't appear that he flips out at all. So
He didn't explode. That's it. It was just the moment of, that's it. The moment of whatever happened, and yeah, his reaction is great. But then again, yeah, he will be missing the next game. So you feel like
you
you're
know who
being
the
punished.
first person in was? He's been like we said about him being everywhere. Ty Adams was the first one to drag Kuno away.
Yeah, I can't remember now, because it was on the other side of the pitch from where we were. But yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. And
It's
yeah,
just yeah. So we're gonna get what we're gonna do for our semi-final when we beat Man City. We're gonna go to London.
we are going to bloody Wembley. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Because we've got a taxi that will take us, right? So
Yeah, you probably charge the other people. You won't be charging me, will you, Victor?
we'll see. We'll make the deal. We'll figure something out. Let's beat City and have a beer to that.
Oh
I
yes,
think this is yeah, our main thing, because now, especially, we've got few tough games ahead of us. We're going to be playing City twice. We're going to be playing Arsenal again, Villa, and especially Villa, the way they're playing now with some of the players that they got on loan, Rashford and Asensio, they're brilliant. And seems like they're not missing out on John Duran going to Saudi. Um, but hopefully, yeah, hopefully we can make it. We can go through. We can watch Bournemouth playing in a massive stadium, right? We don't have to worry if we're gonna get tickets, because we will get tickets for Wembley. It's not the same situation like Vitality. Yeah, but yeah, we can only look forward and then hope for the best, and that's it. Always cheer and say up the Cherries.
up the Cherries.
Right, time to finish the episode for today. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks, everyone. We'll be back with another episode this week. It's an international break, so we will be doing a wildcard episode. We won't reveal what it is. We might be talking about Bournemouth under 18s. We might be talking about Bournemouth Women's Football Club. We might be talking about the actual first team of Bournemouth from the League Two.
A Ryan Christie fan show.
Or maybe a Ryan Christie fan show. That's it. But until then, thanks for staying in us. Thanks for listening to us. And keep supporting the Cherries. Thanks, Dan. Cheers.
Bye.
Every club, every day. The Global Sports Podcast Network.